Ooh, I like that one. Yeah. You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better. You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
All right, go ahead. No.
All right, this is an eco-fueled Hummer. This is a full diesel.
That's how we warm up. We're warming up our pod. But
it
was right when you said that it triggered. I wanted to didn't trigger me, but it
Shoot, 1 minute.
What?
Hold that thought. My drink's out there getting warm.
Okay, yeah, but I'll start anyways because it's not about you, man. But I was thinking about how I was watching a video of this. Bill Burr was talking about how he watches this movie called The Good Girl, and he's like, it's like my guilty pleasure, and he's like, so
Oh, jeez.
I'm watching the show, and he's like, I don't like to tell people I watch this show because it's like a girl's show. He's like, but it's back in the day, and he's like, it's like in the 70s, and when they would have car shows, they'd have girls stand next to the car, and they'd be like, this car has this, and that has, instead of having a sign, because this is the time women are trying to earn rights or whatever, and so and that's in the show.
Just more
she
appealing.
does. Yeah. And during it, he's like, and so I'm watching the show, and the lady's sitting there next to the Subaru in 1970, and she's like, the brand new. He's like, mind you, I drive a Prius. I get about 49 miles to the gallon, and she reads the Subaru, brand new, 39 miles to the gallon. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, the last 6 cars I got was like 20 miles a gallon. He's like, how'd we go backwards in time? He's like, that's why I don't believe in shit. He's like, I know there's fuckery going on. And I started thinking about that, and there's like a lot of movies and different things that where you watch things back in the day, you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I always quote when
Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, even older, go like Pulp Fiction when they're in the diner and he's like, and she's like, and I'll take the shake, and he's like, the $5 shake, and he's like, God damn, it's like a $5 shake. He's like, that better be like the best fucking shake, like the best shake you ever had, Like, and I always thought that was funny. Now, dude, you can't get a freaking shake for under $5, but like maybe McDonald's or whatever. But you go to like a restaurant,
No, I went
that shit's
to,
like $8.99.
we had iceberg for lunch, and the shakes were
Entire
$5.
iceberg.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're huge. I don't know why anybody would get an iceberg shake on
Titanic
purpose,
sinkers, ladies and gentlemen.
unless you weighed.
I like them though because they like put it like a double cup, right? A
Yeah.
cup on top, and it like fucking
There's
sticks
a cup,
out 2 inches
It's ridiculous.
from the top.
I don't know.
It is crazy, and
How much was it?
$5.79, something like that.
That's not bad.
That isn't too bad, yeah. But still, it is kind of crazy to think because
It's just
shoot,
too
back in the
much.
day, you could do back in the day. It sounds crazy. I hate
You get
saying
a room,
that,
a horse, some water,
Do you
and a
really
lot of whiskey for a quarter.
dude. That's the thing that was crazy because it was like a few months ago. I was doing that with my grandma, and I was like, back in the day, and she started laughing, and she was like, yeah, it's funny when you say back in the day because she's like, I've lived, 3 more of your lives. She's like, you've lived one part, and she's like, I'm about 3 more of you. So maybe at least 2 more lives of your own life, and then you would live my life, And so she's like, then you'll see some stuff, because I'm sitting here joking about, like, the internet and time before that and stuff. And then, she starts talking about it. She's like, what do you mean? We had radio, we had, like...
Yeah.
And then, like, when the TV, because even now, like, how the TV is so, like, the thing, she's like, just the way, like, they describe, like, getting the TV and upgrading, everyone's like, oh, wow, did you get a new TV? Did you get that? They're not really talking. They're just like... all the neighbors would go out, talk to each other, and it's just, I don't know, it's so crazy. You go, and then nowadays, like, I remember talking to her kind of about Lyft and stuff, and now they have, I think they have one for school ones. They also have, like, a tutor one for school. You can
They have
ping 'em.
Grift. You seen Grift?
What is that?
Grandma Lift.
No?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You can get a grandma lift, and it takes you like twice as long to get to places.
That's a goddamn cool app if you haven't invented it. That's Brian's. No, that'd be horrible. But I was talking about that with
You're
her.
most likely going to get in an accident. So.
Came up with that on the spot, dude.
That is pretty good. Because she was saying, dude, she would never like see in the paper, hey, giving free rides, just call for a ride. She's like, if you seen that ad in the paper, because that's you look at either you had to call like movie, like that's like back in the just getting the movie today. We'd have to like either call movie phone or you look in the paper, and then you could go to the movie and then check the time. You'd see the time.
No, you'd have to stand in line.
Yeah,
at the
and
movie
you'd go
theater.
and do that shit.
And hopefully there's enough tickets by the time the line's done.
Yeah, you're like kind of hoping, and then that was the thing too, because they'd just sell them, and then you'd go. I remember going in sometimes, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, like it's full. Oh well, you had to come back out," and they'd be like, "Yo, sorry, we didn't know." The next one,
Yep.
you're kind of like, "What?"
You guys don't know technology yet?
Yeah, and it's crazy, like how we would just trust it. We're like, "Oh yeah, we'll go," and like now my grandma was like, I would never have done that as like with my little kids to like call up somebody from the paper and be like, hey, yeah, so my kids need a ride to school. Can you come pick them up and shit like that? Whereas with Lyft, fucking people are trying to lift their kids all the time, which is crazy. There's like, yeah, hop in this car with a random stranger and just take them. Well, but it's because they're on the app, it's like safe.
Yep.
How the fuck do you know that? It's like I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt because I always just think people are inherently good. I feel like they probably do, but I just know
wrong,
that
my friend.
No, I
it's
feel like they are.
Is it Jeffrey Dahmer, the one that used to live here?
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer lived here.
Like how all his neighbors were like, he's such a great guy.
Oh, that was Ted Bundy.
Ted
Probably.
Bundy? Yeah.
Everybody loves him.
He's such a great guy. Brick's like, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out with this guy. He looks, he's a swell guy. He likes to go hiking.
Fuck yeah, that's how the Boy Scouts started. I like hiking. Me too, son. I don't have any friends my age that like to go hiking. You and your friends want to go hiking with me? And the next thing you know,
here's a patch.
Yeah.
Isn't his house still like standing?
Yeah, it's still
an
there.
old piece of crap.
I remember
down.
you were with us. Didn't we go over there like in high
looked at
school?
it.
Because in high school you
looked
can't.
at it.
I
You-
poked it with the stick.
You came with
I
us.
threw rocks at it.
Yeah.
No, there was a cop there, dude.
a sheriff.
I am
patrolling it, and we weren't allowed to get on the property or whatever.
Well, they have like that British guard there that just stands there.
In red and with the big black hat. Yeah.
That'd be cool,
Step away from the Queen's Guard!
Just gives you a good nudge.
dude.
Dude, what's to the...
Well, someone's got to own it.
here.
That's the thing. I wonder because someone's got to own it, right? Someone still owns it. I wonder. Do you think it was because it had to have gotten bought and sold off, right? Because it's still
I'd buy it.
I think the state should
be so
repossess
sick.
properties like that, level them, and build an outhouse on them.
dude, I would either
Honestly,
you,
that's
porta
what I
potties.
think, dude.
no way. You got to freaking
You can't-
buy that and then you make it a freaking spook house. And so like
museum.
when
Oh, excuse
No,
me.
because
like,
then
do you
you're,
want to
then
see
you're
the real Ted
glorifying it,
Bundy?
right?
Who
Yeah.
gives a shit, dude?
I
This is
do,
America.
because
I don't want
it
it to happen
promotes people
again,
to
yeah.
do that shit.
What be Ted Bundy?
Yeah, that's why you got to.
Like, I want my house to be a theme park, right?
And build it into a fucking outhouse. Just one outhouse with a big old hole in the bottom that people could just take dumps in.
Oh, I can see where it's pretty glorifying.
Yeah.
So maybe we won't like go as far as making it like a dump house. Maybe leave it there where it is getting run down, but like put the mystique back out, and so people are like, what the fuck? But then like put a bunch of booby traps up. Like have you seen the ones that people do for hunters when they come on their land and they trip wires and it blows paint cans on them? It's like, and they're like, oh god damn it, and it's all over their guns and face and they're fucked.
Really?
Like you just put them in there, so people are like, let's go sneak and see Ted Bundy's house. Like, fucking rips their head off. Oh shit, dude, he's murdering people still. But I think that would be fun to mess with them. But even that, I think, is going to be going away into the future because I remember my mom was telling me back in the day, they'd go to Gravity Hill, they'd go to the place they thought was a Hobbit land, and then Ted Bundy's house, all these like random places and things.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever happened to those places?
That's the thing. I remember we kind of did it in high school, but we were kind of in the era where internet's been out 5 years.
Well, we're in our
maybe.
50s now, so it's like not cool to do those things anymore.
Yep.
I know you're past the age of 21 and people are like, whoa, you're like fucking dead, dude.
You're gonna die.
You're
like-
basically in the grave.
It's the part that well, I had
the
a.
grave.
I guess we can even talk about that. Like, we have, I think, this weird idea of where we're trying to go. These destination. I think people always have this destination in life. Once we get there, we're there, and then that's like the thing. And then life's complete. You wake up one day and fucking we're there. Life's there.
Yeah.
Because I even kind of had that, even like with my grandma when she was like, "Oh, it's so funny back in the day." Because I'm like, dang, I'm getting up there. I'm getting close to 30. And basically, my grandma's 90. It's like.
She's single?
Ready looking to mingle, dude. My grandpa's a good man, though. You have big shoes to fill.
She's on Tinder or whatever that is.
It's called like Grifter. Yeah, Grifter.
Grifter.
She swipes left
Made
on
by.
everybody.
That's why the lifts take extra long. She takes like a back road. Why are you parking me here in this back of the church? Shh, only I want God and you to know this with me. Oh no, they're spending like some.
By the people who created Grift. Try Grifter.
And that's the way it's going, dude. Pretty soon everything will be on an app. Will be app based. Everything
Yep.
will be. I don't know, at the palm of our
I think
hands
it's
inside of our
weird that
little
we're
radio
doing
wire.
this podcast in VR right now.
It's pretty
That's
crazy.
what I'd like. I mean,
Being 8
I'd like
states
to.
away from each other
yeah.
In each of
We're
us
just
being
listening.
8 states away from each other.
in each direction.
think that's even possible. Whatever. We're
like,
just gonna roll it.
It's definitely possible.
I'm in
You
the
could
state
be-
of
you could be in
Guatemala,
Maine. You could be in Maine. Brick could be in
Texas, and you could be in
probably
Washington.
Texas, and I'll be in
Texas.
Washington, dude.
I guess it depends which way you count. If you count zigzags, you
Yeah.
can get there. It's like
I don't
1,
know.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I'll be
7,
in
8.
Alaska.
Well, then how about that? Which path, or I guess
How
which
about
way
that?
to get there is the right way to get there? Is it better to zigzag? Does that even matter? Is it like
Plane.
because that? I guess that's
Doesn't matter,
another
it's
question.
flat anyway.
Is when do you
Yep.
like as a modern man? I guess like in society now, you know, we're coming in because I
Teleportation.
feel like there's a big attack on men, like as like especially men coming up. You know,
I
there's
don't
no
think there is.
there's no maleness movement. You know, there's a feminist movement. You know, there's no malist thing. You know,
Well, you don't
men
really
don't
need one, right?
care.
you don't have.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, we don't
I
need a
hope you
fucking
don't.
pat on the back.
Oh, man.
You know what I
Fucking Brick
mean?
needs a movement.
But no, I'm saying like that's how it goes. Like
Let's
we're
get you a
getting
movement
into these.
going.
Yeah, let's get Brick a movement.
Well, we might have to.
Hashtag.
Dude. We might have to get a movement because
What
we're
is
just
it
getting
called?
left behind. That's what everyone's doing now. They're starting movements, and it gets to be, I think, a weird thing, dude. I think it's going to change, and I think it changes a lot of people's
In what
perceptions.
direction?
I don't think good, dude. Like the social media and this
Yeah, I don't
forcing
think
of
it's
like
gonna be good,
narratives. I don't think
A
are
lot
good.
of people have been getting off of Facebook, right?
Fuck yeah, dude. They're so retarded. They're talking about we're deleting these fake accounts, but yet they fucking make ghost accounts for people that aren't making accounts so that they can still have records of them for the police.
Wow.
So they the things that like when you like people that is like a brother who doesn't have one or something. Say you have like I have aunts that don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've made mock accounts because of the amount of children, cousins, whoever else. They piece it together and they're like they know someone's here, and then they just figure out who it is and they put them together on the other side.
Wow.
And that's like because Mark Zuckerberg got in touch. That was one of the reasons why he was in that court thing.
Android Zuckerberg.
He's like, because remember, he's like, oh, we don't have that. We don't have any of those shadow accounts or whatever. And then right after, she's like, you lied on this statement. You lied on this statement. Why'd you lie about these statements? She's like, of course, that's why we brought you here. You know, that's, or would you say you don't have knowledge of these? And that was the thing. And now, you know, you're seeing the stupid things on Facebook. We're deleting old accounts. Well, you can't.
guys' privacy matters.
Yeah, and you can't delete
Hashtag
accounts on there.
Movement.
You only can suspend an account, and then that's the same with theirs. Even if they're taking out these fake accounts, it's only if they probably have a replica. If it's one they don't have of, or you just don't use it anymore, like yours, they're not going to delete that shit.
If
you
you-
might not see it anymore. You know, if it's inactive, fuck.
I
Yeah, if
haven't
you,
been on that since like 2011, I think.
That shit will stay there forever, dude.
I hope it does.
Try
'cause
and
then
you
people
try and
will look
delete
at
it,
and they'll
then
be
it says
like,
disabled.
"What?"
Yeah.
dude, it's weird.
Who's this?
Thinking about, like, I think they said in the year 2020, half the people on Facebook would be dead.
Yeah.
Like, their accounts are actually, they died, they passed away, but their account's still active.
So they still live.
I guess so.
Yeah, unless you have to actually
Facebook is the new heaven.
You have to contact Facebook, right? And then they'll put them in a deceased account, won't they? Because like
It's like a dead Facebook.
I think so.
That's
Because
a new account freaking right there, dude.
Go visit.
dude,
your
it'll be a
dead
new page.
relatives.
It'll be like the freaking cemetery page. You can go like pay your respects, dude. And their birth.
Like.
That's how I forget. Like because the same.
Place
It's funny you
roses.
say that because it'll pop up sometimes, and I'll be going through the feed, and then it'll say like. Because I don't really understand how Facebook works. Really, I guess now they have all these like stupid things popping up or whatever, and there's like full taskbar that tell me whose things are what. And so like I'll see people's feeds where I guess it'll comment on someone's birthday from like 4 days ago, and it'll show how everyone like comments on them. And it'll do that of people that I went to like high school with that are like passed away, and they'll be commenting on it because their account's still there, their birthday pops up, and then people now will be putting, you know, we miss you, you know, it would have been good to see you, blah blah. Hope it's all, you know, our prayers are with you, all that kind of stuff. Because now it's different, and so I'm like, is it going to be like that forever? You know, will they end up moving that to a separate page where you do that anyways, and they still like say,
they're actually starting this thing in what are they called? The dead places, mortuaries,
yeah.
where they, when you die, they cremate you and put you into a little sand disk and put you into a computer,
And you come
and
back
then
to life.
You're actually on the internet. So
What?
when they pay respects, it's legit, and you don't have to go to any cemetery or
You can
anything.
get on a webcam and be like, yo, Brig, we,
So you-
we
you're
miss
at-
you,
We
dude.
miss you,
And you're
dude.
like, yo, guys, I'm in the freaking computer.
I'm not here.
I'm watching all the porn I can possibly watch right now.
My eyes are bleeding.
It'd be so funny.
Everybody should just end it, like, get in the...
Come on.
I want you to spread my
What
ashes
if you-
all over the dark web. Or yours would be like, I want you to spread my ashes all over DDoS too. It's like,
Seems like a character in there. I'm
Dude,
alive.
if you could do that, dude, that whole map would be covered of even more sand and stuff, all the ashes and stuff. Oh, a bunch of people would want to.
People
That
would
game's
just
like
take
Think about it.
That game's iconic.
When you're ashes and someone spreads you around, that's like all your body parts, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not really you. It's just like splatter.
Or they say it is. They did like probably 20 bodies at the same time, and then just took a shovel full and poured it in there.
You know what?
Fucking gave it to you.
You know what would be actually really cool is if somebody made a VR graveyard of all the people that have ever died ever.
They come back to life. You could chat with them.
No, there's just a graveyard, right? And it goes on forever, like tombstones with everybody's actual names that's actually ever lived and died that's been registered, like Genghis Khan.
I think it would probably be
Abe
more-
Lincoln. So you get in, and it's like rows and rows and rows of tombstones just appearing.
I wonder if there's more people that have
Forever.
died than have ever lived.
Most definitely.
Most,
think?
most deaf, yo.
For
Get
shizzle.
pitted, dude.
Pitted.
I guess, yeah, if you probably start back when we started as first a full humanoid, I guess, or whatever, once we were finally, I don't know, we got out of the Stone Age, right? Probably. Then we were, because the chimps have entered the Stone Age, right? So, I mean, they're not fully evolved
We got to
form.
stop them, that's for sure.
That's true.
Find
They're
the
all
ones that are
using
getting smart
tools
and
and
get rid of them. Put them on the internet.
They're freaking crazy. And that's the thing. Education and sometimes information travels slow. I think they've been saying, or trying to say that they've been in the Stone Age for like so long.
Why
It's
don't they
like,
feed them mushrooms?
I don't know. That'd be cool, huh? To try it out, to
Test
see if
it.
it works.
Not really, dude. That'd be terrifying.
See if the Stone Ape theory works. Just freaking.
You're just like hanging out with it, and it's like, well, I'm pretty sure I could
Ripped
climb
your
up
face
that
off.
wall.
Dude, they're crazy because there's a guy that did a study for like the pleasure things, and so he like hooked up a
feel like this
remote
going down a
control
bad road.
button wired up to like some thing in his head that it triggered the orgasm thing, so it would vibrate and it would like trigger the sensation of having an orgasm, and then he gave the fucking switch to the monkey. And so he's like, so the monkey, if he hits the little button, then he'd get the jolt in his brain, and it would trigger the orgasm sensation, and he'd feel like he's having an orgasm. It said I think it spent like 16 hours of the day pressing the button continuously, and then the rest of the day sleeping, and then getting up and doing it again. To the point,
monkey did?
Yeah, the monkey.
Oh,
When
I
he-
thought
when
the
he-
guy was still wearing it.
No, no.
I was like,
the
holy
monkey's
shit, why
wearing
the
it.
fuck would you do that? That's
guy's just like,
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the guy had it, or whatever, and he was like doing it, hitting it a few times, or whatever, to see if it would like work or whatever, and then he gave the controls to the monkey, and
He's like, I had to make sure to
so
test it.
if you let the chip
Literally.
and that's it's funny too because that's
Yep, it
like you
works.
could even bring that
Yep,
back
it
to
works.
a human, dude. Fucking humans aren't far off that, That's like you see the monkey doing like full on. You almost guess it would be doing full on pleasure mode, 16 hours a day if it could. And then you look at humans where, we almost kind of do the same, where we would almost rather have a full 16 hours of pleasure, maybe not necessarily sexual, but man, I want to be relaxed, I want to be in comfort pleasure. I want to be in, if it's gaming, I want to be gaming, fun pleasure.
The monkey
food
had it right
pleasure.
because he
I
had
gotta eat
8
that.
hours off so he can go to work. Then he comes home, and then 16, he's...
Well, work's the hard part, dude. You hear people when they get winning awards or doing things or getting their congratulations, like, oh wow, great job, man, look at this, one of a kind. You're one of a kind. You're the best. No one. Sometimes you don't. You never hear people be like, great job, like you worked your ass off. I can't believe you spent 1,400 hours in the shop, and stuff. A lot of times they kind of just skip past that, and then they just, of course, see the end. Oh, hell yeah, you are the champ. You beat all of them. And then never really congratulating them. Oh yeah, you beat them all up because you spent your entire 6 months of your life there. You
Well, it depends
didn't
on
talk
what
to
you do.
friends, family, do any of that shit. While they were hanging out, they still went to fucking Dave and Buster's and all that. And
You get 3 minutes of congratulations while everyone else had months of fun.
yeah,
You
it's
were
crazy,
grinding away,
dude.
dude.
And then, regardless of if you win or not win in those situations, you say, and you start the next day. You start that next day as if either way, like either you lost or you didn't. So if you're
Blank slate.
Yeah, you're going, say you won that game and you have a game coming up. That Monday, you're going to just go right back to the gym and then start working. If you've won or not, you might have a little bit different maybe take on it. But at the same point, you got to start again. The journey goes on. And that's why I really like Alan Watts' look on life, where he's like, life's like music, where you don't listen to music for the like crashing chord, the grand finale sound, the very last sound that's on the song. He's like, because if it was, then all the greatest songs would be just one chord, to that crashing chord. He's like, instead, our favorite songs are ones that we can listen to and, enjoy, sing along, or dance while the music's being played. And it's same with life. You have to enjoy it as similar as the song's being played as it goes on.
Isn't it weird how freaking, like, good music is? That feeling it gives you when you have a song that...
Isn't it?
Like,
well,
dang,
you know what's crazier?
Is it weird?
It's music that you don't like, someone does.
Yeah, I don't like
it's weird.
friending those people. I just unfriend them on Facebook. I'm like, fuck you.
No,
But that is weird,
it's
though, how-
crazy, like how different people's tastes are.
It is, dude. How like the waves, the sound waves, will go into your ears, and you will enjoy that more than someone else's.
That's because they're not
They're like, "Ooh,
intelligent enough
that's-"
to understand the lyrics of that song.
Well, it's just like it's similar, like a taste, or like the hearing. It's crazy, those senses, that type of thing.
That's also true with like different foods, where let's say you present a food to someone and they're like, I don't want to eat that because it's
The texture,
or
yeah.
something. You're just like, dude, you're just not educated enough. So then you knock them out, and when they wake up, you're force feeding them that food.
How was it? What do you mean? You ate some of that? Oh my god, I couldn't even tell. Well, you were unconscious. Oh, I love that. Every time they go to get sushi, it's like get knocked out. They're just like laying there.
Dude,
Eat 'em.
I don't remember who I went and ate sushi with, but we were eating the nigiri, hamachi, or whatever the fuck it's called,
Oh, yeah,
with
slab
just
of
like
fish.
a slab of fish. They're like, I don't want to eat that. That looks disgusting. It's probably going to be chewy. I'm like, actually, it's not. Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be chewy. But it's not. But it looks like it is. Yeah, but it's not. I'm like, so you're going to try it? It looks chewy. But it's not. Like, how are you going to... Why are you fucking judging this piece of meat by what you think it looks like? Like, why don't you fucking try it? I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting off in this tangent.
Well, no, but
where
it is interesting the way that like that's funny. Like sometimes it is sight is the main one, but that'll be the trump all. Like, oh, that is. It's like, what does looking at it have to do with eating it? One with like taste, or what the texture is, feel. Two different. You'll enjoy it, and then the smell of what it is. It's like three different senses. You don't want to use your. I mean, you look at it, yeah, to make sure I guess there's no mold, but other than that, it's like. The site has nothing to do with it, but people will base a lot of it off that. So it's like, judging the book by the cover.
Every food I've ever disliked, I've tried it first. I've been like, I'll try it and see what it tastes like. There's some foods where I'm like, dude, that is like a million times better than what it looks like. And then there's other foods where I'm like, oh, that looks really not appetizing. And I tried it, I'm like, yeah, definitely not my cup of tea. And then later someone's going to be like, do you want to try this? I'm like, I have tried it, and I don't like it.
That is good, because I was kind of like that too when I was growing up. I'm like, I'd look at it and be like, no, there's no way in hell I'm eating that, and for the longest time I was doing that until my mom would start getting, I guess, kind of mad or whatever, and she'd be like, no, you're going to try like certain ones, and I'm like, no, and so when she would make something, she's like, I already know you're not going to like it, so just already close your eyes and then open your mouth, I'm going to stick a piece in. And so sometimes she'd like stick a gun in, and she's like, next time you don't fucking eat one of these and blow your goddamn nose.
I was going to say, I'm like, that's how usually my relationships go. Close your eyes, so I'm just going to stick it in.
You like go off Tinder, you just you like, meet me in my house. All right, you open the door. Hello? And they're like, come on inside. Shut the door behind you. You're like,
it's
like,
a dark
get down.
room.
Yeah. Now close your eyes and open your mouth. What? It's like,
dude.
But
Not this again.
Because my mom would do that, and then they would just have to eat it, and so I'd be like, oh, what the? No, this ain't bad, And that it kind of, I don't know, it changed me to a lot of different stuff, because even then I'd be like, that's the weirdest thing, texture, do whatever, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like cottage. No, it was like maybe tapioca pudding, I think was one of them, where I'm like, I am not eating tapioca pudding. Yeah, it's like vanilla regular pudding, but they got the little tiny tapiocas in them, the little BBs, kind of like how you get in boba drinks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was just looking at it, I'm like, I thought it was like fish eggs or some shit. I'm like, I'm not eating that. There's no way. In my mind, like I said, I had thought it would have tasted like vomit or something. And when I think my mom, it was eventually around, oh, yeah, I already know you're not going to like it. Close your eyes, try it. I stick it in my mouth. I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, this is, it feels so weird. I'm like, so sweet though. It's really good. But the creamy. Open it, fucking, next thing you know, it was like just random man. He jizzed on me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like at the same time, I'm like, damn, dude. Tapioca pudding was probably a bad one to go with, so I had to throw that joke out there. Setting myself up for jokes, but
fuck, dude.
But like that, I was like, what the hell? I'm like, oh my god, this is sweet. And so I've always been a fan of. We can call it tapioca pudding. Oh shit! I had to set that.
Wait, did Jack, was it actually tapioca pudding that
Yeah, that was one of them.
Okay.
But it was just so close, and it was just like, I had to do it before someone else does.
I thought you were going to be like, it was like a hot dog or something. You were like, yeah, dude.
She's like, you like that? And I'm like, I guess. And she's like, no, you don't. Pulled it out. And she's like, do you like that? Put it back in.
You're like, it's a little
Go to a fucking go to a hot dog. Of all things. No, that is kind of interesting. And even the same way, too, I was similar to... I remember the first time catching my own fish, like going fishing and stuff, and then like my dad was like, "Well, you got to clean it yourself." I'm like, "What the fuck? No, I'd rather not even do it," you know. And then I'd do it, and then clean the fish, and I'm preparing it, and that was like even sometimes my first cooking experiences, and that was even like little triggers where all of a sudden, oh my god, you know, this is so good. I don't know if it's me, cat. This is my own fish, you know. You're pumped on whatever it is. Way more emotions than actually off the thing. I'm like, oh, I got my own fish. If it's I cooked my own fish, I got my own fish.
For me, with the whole fish thing, like, I was never told to do it, but my grandpa would always do it. He'd just sit there, clean them up, and I'd be fascinated by, like, what he's doing and how fast he'd do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing. And then I remember my first time doing it, I was just like, this is a lot fucking harder than he makes it look. So I was just like, but I got to keep up with him, so I just kept doing it, and I just basically learned on my own. I was just like cleaning it and like scaling it or whatever, just from watching him. But
which is an interesting thing, because do you think now in the future those kind of things might? Because I remember watching, like, yeah, I remember now you saying that, like watching it, observing it. Because for the longest time, I never talked as a kid growing up. I did, but like most of the time, I was more of a watcher, and so you kind of pick up a lot of things. Whereas now you're hearing weird stats where people spend like 4 hours a day on social media. Like sometimes their first whole hour in the morning, they're just like looking at their phone, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
I think well, what's going to happen now is we're going to shift from people actually going fishing to people watching fishing on YouTube.
Oh, I think so too.
It's like, well, I can get the same excitement watching them pull in, like reel in a fish than I could as me going out, except I don't have to get ready. I don't have to spend money on my license. I don't have to spend money on jigs and lures and baits and lines, and I don't have to worry about bug bites. I don't have to worry about walking around in the water. I don't have to worry about that. I can get that same enjoyment from them and not have to do any of it.
It's so true. Like, it's funny the way you're saying that too, I guess, even now, because it probably was with, like, even being maybe if they're in a city and they can't make it out there or do that, they like live vicariously through your experiences, or because
that's why that primitive technology is so appealing to people, because they wanted, like, everyone wants to do it inside.
Yeah,
like, I really want to go build myself a freaking hut, but then when they get outside, I've noticed a lot of people do the 2-finger grab. You ever notice, like, it's a little girl thing where they're like picking up a piece of like wet paper or something gross, where they're just like, oh, that's gross. Yeah. So now you get a dude that's in his like mid-20s, and you give him a fish. How is he going to pick it up? With his thumb and his pointing finger. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so gross, bro. It's so slimy, dude. Like, I've seen this on YouTube. It's like, grab the fucking fish, dude. What are you doing?
There's that disconnect.
Yeah, I've seen it like multiple times going with doing things with people, and everybody does the little 2-finger grab on everything. And you're just like, man, dude, get your fucking hands dirty. Get your hands in there. Grab it. Pick up that rock. Don't pick up the rock like a wimp. Go looking for gloves. Use your hands. If there's a scorpion, you fucking step on it, and then you eat it.
You cut the spoiler off, then you're good to go. No. But do you think that's like... I think that'll probably happen more. Like, because that's even with some of
YouTube watching?
Or... people living vicariously through other people that are specialized in it. Because I think people used to be jack of all trades. You know, men had to fix shit. You know, you kind of had to know about plumbing, electrical, and all that shit. Whereas now are people kind of specific on it. And even on YouTube, you know, where you'll see like primitive technology. So now you'll see people that will specifically put like, I'm a bushcraft person, and people will watch it. A lot of them, like my most popular video is one that I've tagged bushcraft, and it's gotten the most views out of all of them. And the people that comment on it, one of them, the guy is like, love it, you know, love the thing. I love just hearing the sounds of the sounds of nature, because a lot of it I didn't actually put music in, and so I was like, oh fuck that, you know, this guy totally never sees that shit, you know, and he's like, oh yeah, I love the sound, and I didn't even like think about having like the sounds of like crackling fire or. You know, just the birds and stuff. Because in my mind, I'm always cutting and doing like editing.
Well, you're out there all the time.
Yeah, and yeah, it's true. And so you don't hear it and notice it, and then all of a sudden, this guy's like, "Man, I love that part." And I'm like, fucking random.
Dude, that really is for me too. Sometimes I get that if I don't go camping for a long time, that cracking of the fireplace, where I'm just like, dude, I really miss that sound. And that
The
overwhelming.
gunshots.
Well, that's fun too, but the overwhelming campfire smell too.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people that don't go out and do that stuff, when you come back into the city and you're walking through a grocery store, you smell like a bonfire for like days and miles around you. People are like, is a building on fire? No, that's just the guy in front of me in line. Yep, he smells like he's been around burning wood all day.
Yeah, some people
But
are
to
like,
you,
this
you're
smells
just
good.
like you don't even smell it because you've been around it and your nose is just filled with charcoal.
That would suck. Like if your job was like you got to go to some busy city and you can never go camping and shit like that.
Like live in New
those,
York?
Yeah, those videos would be really appealing, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh shit, I remember when I used
Well,
to
they
do
would,
that.
but people also don't leave that zone because I was listening to what is that one podcast where comedians get coffee in a car or some shit like that?
Comedians getting coffee in cars.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, with Jerry Seinfeld or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. That's just maybe he named it like a freaking
Oh, that's funny.
astrologist.
It's good.
You know
That
what we
shit
call
was funny.
sunspots?
Yeah.
Sunspots. But he went on a ride in New York with somebody, and they just went northwest somewhere. And he's like, a good hour drive. He's like, it doesn't even look like New York anymore. It's all forests and, you know. And he's like, I don't think, the other dude's like, I've been here, lived here like 6 years or something. He's like, I've never seen this. Because they don't leave. Nobody leaves the concrete city. Why would you leave?
And it,
Concrete jungle.
You want to get forest or like wilderness, you go to their big park that they got down.
City Park or whatever. Central Park or
Yeah.
whatever. It's true, and it's crazy. It's hard to even.
But even that's
why
artificial.
I always wonder, like, where would you walk your dogs? You know, certain areas they have like a tree that has, I don't know, 6x6 patch of grass. Your dog can go shit on you, pick it up, and then throw it out or whatever.
There's got to be some healthy grass.
Yeah, all the fertilization. But it is interesting, and the society kind of is aiming for that. And now, too, sometimes it sets us up where you can't really take a trip or go do that kind of stuff. Because I remember, like, we were even talking about it back in the day, off a freaking bagger's salary at a grocery store, you could own a house, have a fucking boat, get Saturdays off, only work till, 5, have a family, 4 kids, and still have time to have a freaking hobby shooting guns. Now, like at least in California, it would take 3 minimum wage jobs just to afford 1 2-bedroom apartment inside California. That's
I
crazy.
think the average house price in San Francisco, you have to make a year $330,000.
That's crazy.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Because then if you get some stupid house, it's like some dumb little 1-bedroom studio, or not even a studio, but I guess if you had a house where it's like 1-bedroom apartment that's in some area, and it's like a $3-4 million home, you're going to be paying property tax on this dumb little thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to start
like
living in
$70,000,
stacks,
$60,000 a year or some shit, whatever it is. But
Trailer homes.
dude,
That's why I was saying, I'm like, dude, if it ever gets to that point, I'd just live in a boat. You buy yourself a boat and you pay the
Docking.
I'm on a
docking
boat.
fee.
Until you don't want to, you just go out to the sea.
Yeah, and then you just go out to sea.
To get fucking pulled in by some water
Pirates.
animal or something.
That's why you have freaking...
Dude, the ocean's the
mounted-
worst, dude. I would never live on the fucking
What is it
ocean, dude.
called?
Fuck the ocean.
Yeah, I don't
Dude,
like
you just
the
tip over and then you're like in another world, dude. You're not
Dishka
even in your
gun.
world.
That's what it's called.
A dishka?
Yeah, it's a freaking Russian gun. It's a big ass, like, World War I or World War II big machine gun, and it shoots, like, big bullets like that. Like, foot-sized bullets. You have that thing mounted on the front of your yacht. So when pirates start coming, you just... sink their little
Or you
freaking
just speak
boat.
Start pushing
Somalian
your boat
and you
back.
can be their
You're
friends.
like, I will show you the way.
That's Uganda.
Whatever, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
Just meme them.
Do you think it'll get to a point, though, where it will be like that disconnected? Like,
Yeah, it's already there.
because we were even talking about it too. We were talking about like prepping skills and doing whatever. But how many people are taking up blacksmithing? Or taking up. Sometimes people get like a hobby and then they kind of that's it. And when they get their couple hours of free time that they're not sleeping, they'll practice that. Whereas
Woodwork or metalwork.
yeah, and it's good, I guess, to be
I make
specifically
ropes.
good in something like that. But that's usually what you kind of do as, I would imagine, your job or your craft. Like something that you're generally your best at. That's what takes up most of your day. That's what your work is. and then you get to moonlight on the side with different hobbies, whether it's music, games, if it's some kind of socializing performance thing. But then you get to do it. But then, you still get your centralized thing where you're not stuck in where a lot of people aren't going to be wanting, there's not a lot of people that their dream is to open up freaking Walmart every day and just get all the lights going, and get everything handled and stuff. There might be some people, but there are probably people who would rather, I'd rather spend most of my day just being an artist, painting stuff, doing things.
Lame.
Or being a poet, whatever it is, of course I'm leaning more towards the arts, but even sometimes people, I'd rather have been a freaking architect, but I'm not going to go to school. And so it's oh shit, well, what if they just had the area where they got to hang out that was kind of
architecty?
Yeah, and they just kind of started doing trades in that anyways, so you go in there, well, you can't be an architect yet because you're stupid or whatever, and you got to learn how it goes. Well, you got to be the guy that bring the little parts for the guys while they build the models. Cool, so you start taking a step by kind of like an apprenticeship, I imagine, back in the day, before you had computers in schools where
I think
you want to make boots, boy.
Do that, but you got to get really lucky to get under an actual architect who teach you that trade, and then you could probably do it yourself.
You'd probably have to be some guy that's he's I'm an architect where I produce one thing and then people buy the idea, and works for no companies, and it's probably he'd have to be that sushi guy that is the number one sushi in the world supposedly, and he owns a little tiny cart down in
Japan.
Yeah, in Japan, and people go to be apprentice there, but you have to probably have a lot of distinguished things, but
or just really good sushi.
Yeah, because I wonder how does he have a protocol too? Does he have? I want to see your applications in this.
Well, it's like the Shane Company. He goes and he looks at every diamond to make sure it's legit.
Every single diamond.
Every one of them.
Every single one.
Horse shit.
He's you'll pay a lot of money for that. This is really hard to get. Am I right? We're not just pulling it out of freaking rivers. That's where blood diamonds come from. They're not pulling them out of rivers. They work for it. So.
I think diamonds are weird. It's a weird thing.
We got tricked, dude. Even in Minecraft, they make diamonds seem like they're hard to find.
They are hard to find.
Not in real life.
Unless you use cheats. And they're easy to find. Go to my link, boys and girls, and you can get yourself some Minecraft cheats.
You'll find them. That should be an interesting thing.
Only for $2.99. Ask your parents, and then you can get some freaking cheats.
And I'll take that back, trying to loop back in, talking about how people are viewing their lives, being the modern man, and I think a lot of people think that they're going to get to some special time, wake up 30, 40 years old and be like, oh, life's complete, I'm great.
Life's complete when you're laying on your freaking deathbed and you're like, hey, Billy, he's going to be your grandnephew, come here. And he walks over, yeah? I really fucking hate you. And you die.
That'd be funny.
Life is complete.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
You killed me. He has to have that in the back of his mind the rest of his life.
I died because of you.
Oh, fuck.
It's like the reason people
horrible.
die is every time there's a new person born, the oldest person dies a little on the inside because there can only be so many people. And it's
in
like,
the family bloodline.
Yeah. You find out, you're like, come here. I got something to tell you. Yeah? What do you got? Yeah, you piece of shit. What did he say to you? I don't know. I couldn't hear. It's not my fault.
That would probably work for some people, dude.
Ruin someone's life.
Sometimes I wonder if that would work for people. That would go, because how we were talking, I guess I was going to bring it back with, I felt people want that. They won't play that game unless they got cheats, and that's how the game of life is. People aren't enjoying it unless they got fucking cheats or some kind of easy button, some jumper,
Yeah.
That's kind of, I feel like, a mentality that people kind of want.
Trust me, dude, I want an easy button. I want a button where I win a lot of money and I don't have to go to work.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But that shit ain't gonna fucking happen.
I mean, there is some. That's the worst part, is there is some, but the tried and true method that no one wants to go through is working for it, because a lot of times it comes up in different ways. It manifests itself in different ways from that work in ways you wouldn't have thought, but it's just a different result where people I was doing this for so long on this thing and we did it for so long, it's like this. We could be podcasting forever and be doing this kind of stuff, and we're the only ones that listen to it because it's fun or whatever. And some random person could listen to it and be like, "Hey, man, I like your Three Stooges. Can you guys come do a voiceover for us in a game?" FYI, we'd totally do that. If anyone wants us to do, we'll do voiceover for games. But that would be crazy because But before, when we started this podcast, I could not listen to my that was one of my worst things, is hearing my own voice. I couldn't do it. Even now, it still sounds just horrible to hear, but I'm over it, you know?
I didn't want to say nothing, but yeah, you do sound terrible.
Yeah, but I've come to terms with it and stuff, and I can joke on it, and I can hear the times I say mumble and like and and it's like, oh God, you know, and it sucks. But it's still out there. It's subliminal messaging. I'm trying to get people to like it. I'm like.
That's our new app, like.
That's why I say like so much. It's subliminal messaging, get you to like the program, comment, like.
That'd be so funny.
Comment, like,
subscribe.
Yeah, just like. I guess you have to switch out the ums for the subscribes and the likes, but
that would be hard as shit, dude.
Yeah, and it's crazy
placeholders,
because
what you could do is you could go into edit and just record yourself saying subscribe and like, and what's the other one? Thumbs up.
Yeah.
And so you record those three and just paste them everywhere you say or She's like,
it's a little weird.
That's horrible. I would unsubscribe
like,
so fast.
That's too much editing. You know, I don't edit these podcasts. I just clip, boom. Here we go. Put it out there.
Clip the front, clip the back, send it. You go through everywhere Admer spoke and delete.
Well, we have some hot and ready pizza waiting for us.
And I guess it is. Well, shit, it's kind of early, but we're gonna go see Deadpool here shortly, so that's gonna be a bit of a wrench.
I'm really excited. I said at work that I was gonna go watch Deadpool, but I've been super lazy this weekend. I was just like, nah, I'm not going to do it, dude. I'm just going to sleep in. And I forgot about coming to podcast.
See, you're looking for that easy button, dude.
Dude, my life's easy button is sleeping in. That's easy button.
But don't you think that sometimes that's hard?
Sleeping in?
Yeah. Hard on your body. You get up. You're hard on yourself. You know.
Actually, dude, I found out why I wake up with like fucking headaches and feeling like shit.
Because you don't drink
enough water.
Because I don't have a fucking easy button.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, because I put a camera in there, and every day, doesn't matter, there's some random cloaked person that come through the window and punch me in the face. And then crawl back out and leave. It reminds me of, like, freaking The Ring.
No, it's Paranormal Activity. The freaking demon comes out of the ceiling. Punches me in the face.
Crawls back away.
And I wake up the next morning, God, I feel like I got punched in the face.
See, that would be the kind of shit that would, I think, make a good horror movie. I think that'd be fun to make a little horror short and stuff, because I think it'd be really easy, dude, just by doing suspense, like doing cameras angles where you're talking about stuff, you know, and those are the ones that get me the most, like on Signs where they're like talking and the one guy moves walking away when it's just two headshots, and in the back you see the little person on the roof and it's like goes down. Like those kind of things.
Yeah, those would be great.
Nowadays they're putting like that shit where I was just kind of describing like a ring body. It's like, and then like all arms are all crazy and everyone's like, ah. But for me that just takes me right out of it. I'm like, well, I didn't think that was something stupid.
Because the best,
thanks, now it is.
You know, the best form of horror, your brain comes up with it. So when you see a shadow in a window, your brain is racking through hundreds of things that could possibly be like ghost, vampire, probably ghost vampire. It's probably the delivery man, he got lost in the building and he was looking out the window. Like your brain's going through it, but when you actually see it, you're like, oh, it's some freaking girl in a nightgown with black hair and she's coming out of the TV. Your brain knows what it's seeing. It's like, okay, that's what I'm seeing. But if you see something like, what's a movie with the aliens in the cornfield?
Signs.
Yeah, where like the alien like walks past and you're just like, oh, I fucking seen it, but I didn't.
I felt it, that those are the ones that get me more.
Everyone in the movie theater seen something, but everyone's brain registered.
Yeah, but then again, that comes with another problem where some people are like, yeah, you don't even get to see the bad guy until more than halfway through the film. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean?
Those are the people that are just really scared, and they're like, I'm freaking mad because I peed a little bit.
Yeah, what is it? I want to see this, like when I want to see this actor pretending to be a freaking dead person. You know, I want to see a person dressed up in a dead person suit.
But I was going to say, you were like, oh, you're trying to get that little relief because I was telling you I was being lazy. I could feel a little fire burning inside me, though. It's pretty big. It's like a smolder now. Where like, because I'm like, I want to go fishing. And
it's like a smolder now. It went down.
It went down a little.
It's almost
cinder.
out.
It's like...
But it's still there, still lit.
Hopefully it doesn't start raining because it'll go out. But like, and by raining I mean I'm crying my heart out.
Best time to go fishing, dude.
No, not in the rain.
Yeah, it is.
I guess I do have a poncho. That would be pretty cool. I'm afraid of lightning though. And
you
thunder.
have a lightning rod every time you cast.
The lightning and the thunder.
I don't know if it is the perfect time to go, but it could be.
It's definitely not.
You want to go early morning between like 6 and 10. That's the best time.
No, between like 3 in the morning and
That's like
midnight.
nighttime.
Exactly.
3 in the
Morning, like right as the sun comes
Fish
up.
are nocturnal.
Fish don't sleep.
Fun
don't have
facts
eyelids.
brought to you by Lost Minds
Yeah,
Podcast.
I was wondering about that. Who knows if it is or not? There's no way to know. The only way we can know, we have to learn.
And the only way we can learn is we gotta know.
We gotta. And that's the other thing too. It's like you gotta make sure you learn in the right places. If you learn in the wrong places, you could learn something wrong. You know,
Yeah,
if you go to your
flat
public
earthers.
school, they could teach you about Thomas Edison. You can go to another school, and then they can teach you about a completely different person, Nikola Tesla. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's only a grade apart. So if I'm in my 12th grade, that would have still been part of my education. And if I go to my 13th grade, you could say, and they teach me about that, it's like, what happened here? What changed? You know. So make sure you get the right education.
The reason they do that is so that when you go to college, you actually feel like you're learning something.
Yeah, you're
You're like, I'm actually learning
yeah, they got to
something
keep the
here.
game going. They got to keep that racket going.
Yep.
They got to keep it going. But hey, that's part of the game. And hey, we'll maybe call it early so that we can go watch Deadpool. But I will put at the end of this, since we were talking about that, I've been wanting to put it on there. But it's the one of JFK's last speeches as like a president and stuff. And I think we're hearing all this kind of different stuff. And and it's very interesting. I feel like the way he talks about it, like how our society's going in a direction which I feel like it has gone.
It's already there.
Yeah, and there's like certain mindsets, even with him, they're still preaching about it, where it's different. It's interesting because they were trying to prevent it, yet we're going in the same stage. And I think sometimes, I don't know, people just need to be more open-minded to hearing different things. Even with that speech, I can guarantee, because I'd like to do that one, and I'd like to do Martin Luther King's one of his speeches too, because I think people only, I have a dream that one day, and people will live, whatever. You only hear that part. And it's the same with this JFK one. People, they've only heard certain things, we want to put a man on the moon, or whatever, like, we're going to the moon, we'll go to Mars, like those type of things, like talking about being inspired to go above and beyond, and kind of be the man you want to be or be the woman you want to be. And I find it, I don't know, it's really interesting, and it is kind of
I
only
hear what you're putting down.
40, 50 years ago, and it's completely kind of changing, or has completely changed, and so...
Now it's all tweets.
What Brick is saying is, don't edit your life. Listen to the full experience.
Yeah.
And make your opinion on that.
And so I'm going to clip it in there because it was just happened to be on the public domain, and I think a lot of stuff from the public domain, I think people should watch it over or listen to it again. And so
Agreed.
Since we're doing this one early, we'll end it with that. Enjoy.
You, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
that you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Vice President Johnson, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, President Truman, Reverend clergy, fellow citizens. We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. This much we pledge and more. To those old allies whose cultural and spiritual origins we share, we pledge the loyalty of faithful friends. United, there is little we cannot do in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided, there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds and split asunder. To those new states whom we welcome to the ranks of the free, we pledge our word that one form of colonial control shall not have passed away merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedom, and to remember that in the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves for whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. To our sister republics south of our border, we offer a special pledge to convert our good words into good deeds, in a new alliance for progress, to assist free men and free governments in casting off the chains of poverty. But this peaceful revolution of hope cannot become the prey of hostile powers. Let all our neighbors know that we shall join with them to oppose aggression or subversion anywhere in the Americas. And let every other power know that this hemisphere intends to remain the master of its own house. To that world assembly of sovereign states, the United Nations, our last best hope, in an age where the instruments of war have far outpaced the instruments of peace, we renew our pledge of support to prevent it from becoming merely a forum for invective, to strengthen its shield of the new and the weak, and to enlarge the area in which its writ may run. Finally, to those nations who would make themselves our adversary, we offer not a pledge, but a request that both sides begin anew the quest for peace. Before the dark powers of destruction, unleashed by science, engulf all humanity in planned or accidental self-destruction, we dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed. But neither can two great and powerful groups of nations take comfort from our present course, both sides overburdened by the cost of modern weapons, both rightly alarmed by the steady spread of the deadly atom, yet both racing to alter that uncertain balance of terror that stays the hand of mankind's final war. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Let both sides explore what problems unite us, instead of belaboring those problems which divide us. Let both sides, for the first time, formulate serious and precise proposals for the inspection and control of arms, and bring the absolute power to destroy other nations under the absolute control of all nations. Let both sides seek to invoke the wonders of science instead of its terrors. Together, let us explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depths, and encourage the arts and commerce. Let both sides unite to heed in all corners of the earth the command of Isaiah to undo the heavy burden and let the oppressed go free. And if a beachhead of cooperation may push back the jungle of suspicion, let both sides join in creating a new endeavor, not a new balance of power, but a new world of law, where the strong are just and the weak secure and the peace preserved. All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered the call to service surround the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself? Can we forge against these enemies a grand and global alliance, north and south, east and west, that can assure a more fruitful life for all mankind? Will you join in that historic effort? In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth God's work must truly be our own.